And we're recording. This is another show, the second one actually, after Mohammed. Interesting story that was. This is show number 2 about extraordinary people. And my special guest is going to be Mr. Johnny Rowland.
Well, I've been called worse things. I mean, come on, you know.
You're listening to Business Radio X. This is Mark Bishop, and we've got another brand new extraordinary people. And my very special guest today is a man from Louisiana, Mr. Johnny Rowland. How are you, buddy?
Well, good. So nice to meet you, Mark. Really.
And it's a real pleasure for me to have you on the show. You're an icon on American television and radio. You've been going a few years.
Well, that's true. We do, you know, but my first initial is H, as in humble. And, I tell people, say, look, if you're not humble, well, just wait a while. You will be.
There you go.
We all are. So
you're doing something brand new and exciting. You're into guns.
Yes.
You're into hunting.
Yes.
And what else are you into?
Well, we do guns and hot rods, and we do music. That's part of our spectrum of things. We've been doing it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And
when you say music, do you play an instrument yourself?
yes, sir. Well, I'm a singer and writer, and
Very cool.
and well, I tell people I'm a pretty pitiful player, but thanks to the programs and my Yamaha synthesizer, people actually think I can play. But I'm a vocalist and a writer, and we our last really major effort, we had a top 10 record back in 2013.
Wow, that's not that far ago. 5 years. What was it called? Should I know it?
My Name is Freedom. It's all over Google, Sony, Spotify. They got it. My Name is Freedom.
My name is Freedom. That rings a bell.
Yes.
Very good.
But it did well in Australia too, actually.
There you go. That's probably
Yeah.
where I heard it. But I've been here after then, or before 2013.
Right,
So
right.
there we go. Now you're doing something new with video. There's a lot of talent in Tucson.
No kidding.
Enormous talent, because this used to be the film capital of America. You know that.
Well, I didn't know.
This was. A lot of movies were made in Tucson. When the Duke was alive,
That's true.
he was a big sponsor behind it all, and the museum here in the Tucson Wayward West, everything, all sorts of movies. But you're doing something a little different with a channel now. You're putting
Yes.
together. What is that going to be? What's the content all about?
Well, our programming is based essentially for families. And just because you're family does not mean you have to be dumb. We do exciting things. I invented, essentially, one of the very first people to do reality television, but I invented gun television back in 1991. And we've helped build a couple of other networks along the way that people have heard of. And we see a great opportunity because so much entertainment now is cookie cutter similar. Mm-hmm. And as long as the major entertainment companies just keep doing what they do, that gives people like us a real chance.
Well, what are we talking about? We're talking about all the sitcoms, you mean?
Yes.
That type of television
Sitcoms
coming from the networks.
And then we have a lot of programming that is around motorsports and things. It's just really ignorant. I don't know. We really don't know who they're designed for because it's certainly not the audience. And so we can come in and, I didn't write the book on low budget, but I did write the pamphlet. And so it's just amazing when you have content. We do, the shooting sports are really interesting and exciting if you cover them properly. A lot of fun stuff around shooting. And then we cover motorsports, motorcycles, sand rails, diesel drag racing, all kinds of fun.
So a lot of this stuff is not covered on the ESPN channel?
Exactly.
Because I know they cover it's always the big Grand Prix and the major tennis and the major events around the world. But when it comes to the smaller stuff, are you talking about events to do with sport that are in the community that never get covered?
Exactly.
That type of
Oh,
thing.
absolutely.
So it's like community television, only it's going to be bigger.
Yes. Because
And all different sorts of stories. So give me an idea of what you would do in the gun stories as an example.
Well, we do things on the shooting sports. We call it run and gun. On action shooting, we shoot cowboy action shooting where we break balloons at a full gallop from horseback, and you're shooting blanks from a single action revolver. It's exciting. It's fun to watch too.
How do you burst a balloon if you're shooting blanks?
Well, if you're close enough, you get quite a bit of powder residue and from the blank.
Oh, okay.
And you can break the balloon. And
So you can tell I'm not a gun guy, right?
It's okay. That's good.
You know, I've never owned a gun. Well, that's a lie. I have owned a little 22 when you were a kid.
That's
You do
good.
a bit of rabbit hunting and that type of thing. Poor buddies, I know.
But
Well, really, for us, it's a bit of kangaroo culling as well.
you know, I've heard that.
Yeah, well, we have to, man. They
Yeah.
breed in the millions.
That's-
People say you're cruel. You're killing the little animal that's on your you know, it's your country's emblem.
But
And it's on the money, and it's on the coins, it's on everything.
Sure.
But I tell you what else it's on. It's on all the vegetables, it's on everything the farmers grow. And it's always on, well, if we let them run rampant, there wouldn't be food for
Right,
anybody.
exactly.
That's how bad it can be.
well, but this is
So we have to
reality.
cull them. You know?
But that's reality, and that's what American hunters. I'm personally not a big hunter.
The meat's beautiful.
You
Have you
know-
ever tried kangaroo steak?
No, for real.
Oh yeah, there's no fat in it hardly,
no.
just enough to be able to barbecue it
Mm-hmm.
right. But it's tastes a little bit the cross between chicken and meat, but it really is divine kangaroo meat. Now, what else other than guns? You're doing something else too.
Well, we do again. We do motorsports. We do sand rails. We do diesel drag racing. We've done a lot of work with Mustangs, the cars.
Okay.
In fact, have a fun video we did on Mustang racing.
Okay.
A lot, but I write for Chrysler Power Magazine. I like Camaro. We like all kinds of motorsports. The diesel performance industry has really exploded in the last 10, 15 years. And, you know, when you have say a full-size Dodge Ram truck or a Chevrolet 2500 or a Ford diesel that runs a 9 or 10 second quarter mile, it's unbelievable, actually. It's just like, how'd that happen?
I see that stuff. It doesn't appeal to me. You know those big trucks on the big wheels, and they go over these big sand dunes, and you see them in an arena. I don't get that much. I mean, I
Well-
guess you got to be really into that to it.
That's kind of their own niche. You know, it's interesting to me. It's more interesting to me to see how they're made or what their parts they are. I'm like you. That's not a huge thing with me, but some people like. You know,
Right.
Good for them. And we cover a
Yeah,
little
to
bit
each
of
their
that.
own. You know, my grandmother
right.
used to say that's why they invented horse racing. You know, I mean, let's face it.
Oh,
If
listen.
everybody loved the same thing,
Oh, you're
it'd be
right.
pretty boring, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would be. We get into aircraft, all kinds.
Now, tell me about
Anything.
the aircraft. That does appeal to me, being an ex, pilot. So I appreciate that.
Well, I tell you, the whole spectrum. There aren't, compared to say drag racing or some other motorsports people, there aren't the numbers of aircraft enthusiasts. But when you find an aircraft enthusiast, you got the real deal.
Yeah.
I mean, people spend on some of the old Warbirds.
Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't
Oh,
they?
incredible.
The Spitfires and the Mustangs.
no
and,
kidding.
And that purr of the engine when they fly over. You know, they're wonderful to go to.
Yes,
the air shows and so on.
Absolutely.
Have you ever been to one there with the Blue Boys? They call it.
Yes, I have. The Blue Angels.
The Blue Angels,
And the
that's right.
Thunderbirds.
They do amazing work, don't
Oh,
they?
yeah.
Within that much between wings.
I tell you, it's a high risk sport.
Yeah.
But they're so good, and like you said, there's nothing. You're an aircraft guy. To me, one of the prettiest sounds in all mechanization is a radial aircraft engine starting. You know, it's like you said, they purr. It's just the neatest sound. Beautiful sound. Yeah.
I've got a friend who he's the treasurer of a club here in Tucson that do all the remote controlled radio. And I remember a year ago or two, I did an interview on radio in reference to there was a bit of a battle going on between what they call the fixed wing flyers and all these new kids coming in with these drones. Because the drones now, of course, you have to be licensed, et cetera, before you can do things. But watching these guys fly, mate, they have big tournaments, international tournaments. And some of these planes are as big as this studio, I tell you.
true.
They are huge. And you wonder how they get off the ground, to be honest, you know. But they do.
Well, that was pre-drone. I have some friends over in the military that work on these big, we're talking Cessna 150 size drones now.
Wow.
And these guys were flying stuff like this before the drones got popular.
Yeah.
You know, before. And so, yes, it's amazing, and the expense some of these folks go to. But like you said, I mean, there are matches and things, but
Well, it's a big sport now. As a matter of fact, I did an interview the other day with Wild Willie Willard, who's he's an international champion of this drone racing that they're doing. I think they had 45 million watch the last race on ESPN. And this is huge. And they set up different race tracks per se,
Sure.
all around the world from Vegas. They even used here the Biosphere 2 in Tucson to be a drone race. And it's sponsored by Allianz, and a great sponsorship on this thing because it is amazing what they get up to. And it's a fascinating sport. It's something different again. And people are doing that, like, you know, Top Golf has taken over from bowling because bowling's had 100 years, let's face it.
Right.
And this Top Golf is the new social thing they're doing now. But this drone racing business with Wild Billy, it's amazing. They get up to some very high speeds.
Well, you know something that not a lot of people in our country are aware of, but I think it has great potential, is these gyrocopters. Have you ever fooled with one of these?
No, but I've watched them. You know, on YouTube, there's an enormous amount of different footage of various aircraft. There's a lot of aircraft that's been done by gentlemen in their backyards and in their garage.
That's true.
Light aircraft alone put together. Marvelous stuff that they've been doing.
Well,
but some of the new stuff coming out of factories are really, they're beautiful, you know.
Well, it is. I had a guy on one of our shows a while back, and it was with a light aircraft. It was they're not ultralights. They're hard wings. They're covered, but they're coming to the same flight schedule as ultralights.
Yep.
And that had a parachute. Now, personally, I like the
A smart idea. What a wonderful idea.
I mean,
if you conk out, you know, you're not looking for a
pull the doggone
just
rip
pull
going.
the
That's
darn
right.
thing and down you go.
That's right.
It's amazing.
It's
got to be different. It's like this station, you know, Johnny. I mean, this was put together by a couple of guys that were very frustrated with mainstream media, and particularly mainstream radio.
Yes.
Because over the years, I've been a bit of a bias towards a lot of things, particularly with politics. You know, a lot of media leans left.
Yes.
All right. We tend to lean business. That's what we're about as the Business Radio Network. And Tucson Business Radio is about that as well. And we open it up to the 500,000 people in business, not just the top Fortune 500.
Sure.
So our goal is to help get into the community and totally support small business and give them a platform that has never been there before for them to be able to really express what they're trying to do to help the community, what they've got to offer, what their services are. And it is an amazing concept. It's working very, very well. We've got partners in Phoenix. We have studios in Atlanta, Pensacola, all over the South, and growing across America. And if I may say so myself, tooting our own horn, we're doing a good job of getting into the community and really showing what business can do. And we're helping them at an affordable price for them to be on a platform that they can afford to do and that they can really share their message with other entrepreneurs and so on.
I think
So it's quite an interesting concept. Yeah.
Great idea.
That's Business Radio X. Well, look, I'm very thrilled to have met you today. I wish you well with this new network that you're
Thank
setting
you.
up.
Thank you.
Do you have any idea of what you're going to be calling it at all?
Well,
Bounce anything, any names?
Well, we have working title of Motor Gun and Spur. Motor Gun and Spur. And then, of course, we have Johnny Rowland Media, which is a long title. A lot of people know me from past. We've done 800 plus national TV shows and thousands of radio shows. And the music thing, you use whatever tools in the box. All of us are absolutely normal people.
Well, I think you've got an opportunity to really shoot a lot more than most of the television stations would do.
You're absolutely right.
Anything's a fair go, to be honest with you.
It is.
You know, and I think you could do that.
Well, and we cover things. We're into nutrition. We're into health. You know, one of the things that has been so overlooked is the 70s should only be middle age for people, for real.
Yeah, that's the beginning of life.
It really should.
This is when it all starts, my friend.
It really should be. And so we have some programs promoting health and things that really can help people that in so much of our country, people over 60 years of age, they're done. They're sitting on the couch. That's entirely wrong.
Yeah.
That's entirely wrong.
That's why I'm working 7 days a week.
Well, there you are.
To make sure that I keep standing upright.
Well, there you are. Absolutely.
My guest today has been Johnny Rowland, and this is Mark Bishop with Extraordinary People. I hope you enjoyed the show today. And I tell you what, we've got some interesting people coming up too. So whatever you do, stay tuned, all right? But John, thank you, and good luck with that network.
Thank you so much.
All right. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.